When the Waldo Way first began, Reese wanted to make sure she didn't throw away any of her precious Guernsey Gold milk.
Welcome to my kitchen. So this is my home kitchen, and this is where I brought in that first milk, and we just fell in love with the Guernsey milk at that time. This was, again, it was just the family. A few neighbors would come by and get a little bit of milk in 2012, right after I got the cows. And but then I had a lot of milk to deal with, because if you think about it, one cow would give 2 to 3 gallons a day. And then, so we were milking 2 and 3 at that time. And so you could be getting maybe 10 gallons of milk a day. And so I had to figure out what to do with this milk, because I am a frugal woman and I won't waste a drop of this precious gold. So the first thing I did was I really tried to make as much of my grandmother's cheese as possible. Now this is like a farmer's cheese, it's a fast cheese, but I did all kinds of things like adding herbs to it and such as that. But then another soft cheese, if you will, which is in the category of that, is our yogurt. And I remember my grandmother making yogurt. She had this yogurt machine back in the 70s, and it was this cool little small yogurt machine. So I didn't have that, but I had a pot and I had enough knowledge. I thought, okay, I can do this. Now, I had so many mess ups. I lost a lot of milk. Well, I wouldn't say I lost it. I gave it to the dogs because it didn't turn out just right. It really is an art and a science.
One Reese eventually perfected.
So I would bring my 5-gallon buckets in and I would pour them. That was beautiful. Just like in the olden days. And then with yogurt and the making of yogurt, you want a gentle, slow, very slow heat and a good lighter. And so you turn it on a moderate heat. And so it needs constant stirring. So you constantly stir. And if you start with warm milk, which is what I would always do, it was straight from the cow, this beautiful warm milk, and it went right in the pot. And so it didn't take that long to heat because you're already at 100 degrees.
Time to turn liquid gold into golden yogurt.
And then I would, this was very, very hot, very hot. And then I would put it into this bowl to start. So you want your milk, this is very hot, and you want it to start cooling down. So what I had was a sink, and I would put ice in it, and I would plunge that bowl into the ice and let it sit with ice around it until it got to around 101, 104 degrees before I would put my culture in it. And I can't wait to show you how I do the culture. So what you're doing, because you heat it up, you break the protein, and then that's what allows it to set up as a thick yogurt. You'll find that the raw milk yogurts are not thick, such as the ones that you find in the store, because we don't add gelatins and we don't add any type of artificial to make it really, really thick, like more of a jello. So you will find more whey because we don't want it pasteurized. We just want it heated just a little bit to give it the nice thickness that we're looking for. So after it cools down to that, back to a normal a temperature of 101, you want to a clean jar. I love the glass jar. I wish I could do all of it in glass, but I can't. But that's when we have the premiums in the jar. And so I would pour my yogurt, my milk up. This is just milk. This is all this is right now. It's just milk. And we still make it very much like this. And then I would take my starter, which is my Greek yogurt, which has the bacteria in it, to culture this milk. And it's the perfect temperature. And you just want to take about this much, and what I would do is take it all the way down to the bottom of my jar and slide it off, and that's it. I would put the lid on it, and that's the beginning of Greek yogurt.
Now to proof the yogurt, something that is easier when you have a proofing box like the one the Waldo Way does now. But back then, Reese didn't. But she did have a good old heating pad.
I would have my heating pad, just a small heating pad, over on my little love seat, and I would put it on. I would line this up, say 6 to 12 jars was, all that I had extra that I would make. And I always had to do this. I felt like she blessed it. And I would take my grandmother's quilt that she made for me, and I would drape over it and make sure that all of my yogurts were covered. This is a Dutch girl. She made the Dutch girl and the boys have the Dutch boys. So that's how I would make our yogurt back, I guess that was probably now 8 years ago, how I started making yogurt. We do it a very, very different style now, because now we have a 100-gallon vat that has a big paddle, and it will stir it like I did over here, and would stand over that stove and stand over that big pot and stir it for 30 to 40 minutes. It's like a thermos jacket, and then you have cold water. So it's basically what I just did here. It's a ginormous water bath that comes in, and it creates this cold wrap around it, around the milk, and so it brings that temperature down quickly. We add a culture now. It doesn't take much, and then we package it in a slightly different manner now because we have the plastic. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I've enjoyed doing it for you.